How's everybody doing? My name is Rita Panulla. I'm the design director here at ImpressArt. We are currently in my studio at home. We are socially isolating ourselves from everyone, social distance. And I'm going to bring you a series of videos from home to just make sure that we're all doing well. So today this is all about kids' crafts. So I'm going to walk you through our SIY projects, which are great for kids. And I know right now whether, and these could be done for pretty much yourself, kids, Girl Scout troops. What's great about these SIY kits is that they are flat. There are not any jump rings, so while you're social distancing, it'd be great to pop something like this in the mail for a grandma or a grandpa or an aunt and uncle, a friend. I know we made a couple of these bookmarks last night. I have a 10-year-old home with me now, and we made a couple of bookmarks, and all we did, we put 2 stamps on it, and we send them on their way, and hopefully within the next 3 days, they'll have a surprise in the mail. So we did it for my mom, my dad, and a couple of my sisters. So as you know, as I said before, we are out of New York, and we are working from home, all of us, so we're nice and safe. And we're hoping to flatten the curve, hopefully by the end of this month, I guess. And I'm home, and I'm just gonna make a couple of videos for you and do some projects, and hopefully we can pull ourselves away from that TV and create, because that's really, I think, what's gonna get me through it, as well as other people that work for ImpressArt and friends. Really, that's been the motivator to get us off the couch and away from what's going on, okay? So we're gonna do a bookmark today, okay? Which this is the finished project. You can see. Okay, we have a great kids crafts page that we worked on, and when we have a dog tag, and we have a couple of garden markers that we're going to do today. So I'm going to show you the protective coating gets peeled off, in case anyone's wondering. So I am going to start. We're going to be using a mix of Bridget uppercase, which is 3mm, and our Juniper uppercase, which is a 3mm as well. The Bridget is more whimsical, so it sways, it's more forgiving, it's great for a beginner. The Juniper, still a solid, great font. That's more of an up and down font. It's more of a childish font, it's whimsical as well. It just doesn't sway. And I'll explain that to you while I am doing a couple of projects. Okay, so remember when you're stamping, you want to make sure that you're on a flat, sturdy surface. What I suggest is if you're home, to make sure that your block is over your table where the leg is. So it creates a nice and sturdy surface for you to stamp on, okay? I'm going to walk you through on how to use jigs as well, which are these right here. So if anyone's ever seen these, this is a stamping aid to make sure that you are stamping straight and it's protecting you from hitting your hands with the hammer. So this is a great tool for kids. It comes in a 3mm, a 4mm, a 6mm, and a 9.5. So you have 4 jigs. Each jig comes with a design stamp in it, and I believe it's all the same heart. So that's really nice to have, because you could actually do a project with them graduating from the 3mm all the way to the 9.5. All right, so we're gonna start. I have dog tag. So dog tag is where we're gonna start, what we're gonna start with. So let me grab my font. So what we're going to use for this is we're going to peel off the film off the front. The reason why there's a film on these projects is in the packaging they rub together. So we don't want you to get them and for them to be all scratched. So what you're going to do is you're going to peel off that protective coating on the front, and you're going to peel that protective coating off the back. Okay, and you want to use your sticker guide with this. Sticker guides are really important because it's a great tool to use because it aids you stamping straight and your line and perfect spacing. So I'm just going to put that right here. I'm going to line up my orange center line with the middle of my circle at the top of my tag. And I'm going to press down on that label. And then I'm going to write down, I'm going to utilize, I want to spread this out. So my cat's name is Elvis. So I'm going to do that. So I have Elvis. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to utilize my center mark for my V, my I, my S, my L, and my E. Okay, so I want to spread that name out. Sometimes when it's a small name, also, and you want to use it closer together, you're going to utilize the space in between your black lines. So if you look over here, if I wanted it close together, I would go L-I-V-I-S. And that would bring my name nice and close together. I want to actually space it apart. I think with this, it's going to look much nicer. Okay, and I'm going to pull it out. So you always want to make sure that when you're stamping with our product, the ImpressArt is facing you. That's how you know it's an indicator mark that you're stamping in the right direction. So you're going to take that down, lightly drag it, line it up to where you have marked your sticker. Firmly place your hand on the block, anchor it, take your hammer, and give it a nice hit. I also like using the orange hash lines when I'm working with an uppercase, but it's really personal preference. I'm going to bring it down, lightly drag it, give it a hit. Now, for those of you who are using this and are having some kind of trouble going over the sticker, what I want you to do is tilt it slightly towards you. Once you tilt it and drag it, you're going to feel that stamp hit that restriction in that tape, creating a ledge. Once you feel that ledge, press down on it firmly and give it a hit. Okay? Then I'm going to take my sticker off, take my enamel marker, lightly fill that in. And what I like to say is I like to make it dirty before I make it pretty. So I kind of dab and then I lightly wipe. And you're going to do it gingerly. You're not going to be very aggressive with the rubbing of it. Very lightly does the trick. And there you go. So I'll bring that up a little so you could see that. And also, just to add a little, if you have a texture hammer at home and you're feeling like, let me grab that. If you're feeling like you want to do a little bit more on these SIY projects, they could be, simple. They could be more complex. You can take your ball peen hammer and then you could just do the edges. I know on Monday we did a Facebook Live on texturing and this multi-function hammer that we have, but that really makes it really nice. Now what's great about this aluminum, it's food grade aluminum, so it's not going to tarnish, it's not going to corrode, it's not going to turn your green or really discolor your pet's hair that it rubs against when it's on the collar. but it's nice and thick that you could actually stamp on both sides. So you can turn it around and do your phone number or your address on the back if you don't want it on the front. You could also bring that name up and do the address on the bottom or a phone number on the bottom, okay? So this was using the 3mm juniper font. So with that being said, then you're gonna move on to putting your jump ring on. So your jump ring is, your split ring, sorry, is very, just like a one for a car. You're good for your car keys. You're gonna take it, lift up, and then just put it right on. You're gonna slide it right on. And you could use a pair of pliers to help you out. You could hold it like that, and then bring it around. And there we go. Next, we're going to do a bookmark. So I love these bookmarks. These bookmarks are great. And with that, you're going to peel that protective coating off the front and the back. Here we go. So when I'm working with my bracelets or I'm working with a larger piece of metal, I like to turn my block in a diamond. I feel like it gives me more room to work. And let's see, with these I like to go longer. So you could either utilize your sticker guides from your sticker guide book, or you could utilize bracelet sticker guides with this one. Let me see if I can pull some of that out. And like I said, the good thing about both the garden marker and the bookmark is you could have your kids do these and drop them right in the mail. Good old snail mail. They're nice and flat. They're very light. Like I said, I did these with my daughter yesterday. We dropped a lot of them in for family members that we can't see right now. Just a little checkup on how they're doing. So I'm gonna mix fonts with this one so I could show you. In the beginning, I told you that we're working with two fonts today, that one was a little bit more swaying and whimsical and one was more straight up and down. So I stamped the dog tag with our juniper font, and I am going to do this one with juniper and Bridget so you could see a comparison on how they both are. So I think we're gonna do, let's do, we could do, how about Life is Beautiful? I like that. So the good thing about these stickers is that you can write your message down, and because they come on and off, you could actually move it around. So I'm gonna actually put this back on here and show you what I mean. So I took this out of my sticker book. So I'm going to start off with my juniper. So I'm gonna start with, and I'm gonna go every hash line. So what's great about these stickers is that you can move them around. Okay, sometimes when you're working with a round disc, it's a little harder. You'll have to measure, you use your center line to line up with the hole that's in the top. But with these bracelet sticker guides, they're great because you can move them around. So I'm gonna start off with Bridget. So Bridget is that whimsical font that I was talking about. It's a 3mm uppercase font. Okay, and I am going to line it up. So I'm going to take it down, lightly drag it till it lines up with the letter and the hash mark that I have on my sticker guide. Take my hammer, give it a hit. There's my L. My I. Now you'll notice that you don't really have to hit this aluminum too hard, okay? And I have to tell you that these sticker guides are life-changing. You'll see once I pull it off, everything is nice and even and spaced out correctly. So now I'm gonna switch from the Bridget uppercase to the Juniper so we could see a side-by-side comparison. So remember, you wanna place it down, lightly drag it, line it up. Let's see if I could do it this way for you guys. Line it up with the letter that's on that hash mark. Give it a tap. And if you're having a problem that you're dragging down and you're going over the sticker a little bit, what I want you to do is just tilt it ever so slightly until you feel that restriction in that ledge of that sticker. And I'm gonna pull that off. You know what? I'm not gonna color it in yet. What I'm gonna show you how to use that jig. So this is great for when you're working with children. And I happen to have, let's see. I know I pulled out, so I pulled out. If you've noticed, if you walked around the neighborhood and got out a little bit, I know in New York, and I've seen even all of my friends from all over, the East Coast, West Coast, rainbows. Kids are making crafts with rainbows and putting them in their windows for hope. We take a walk when my husband comes home because unfortunately he's an essential employee, so he needs to go to work. And when he comes home, we always make sure to take a walk around the neighborhood. And it's become a thing that we count the rainbows in everybody's window. And it's very inspirational and uplifting. And people are getting really creative with it. So we have a rainbow stamp. It's a 6mm stamp. So that's what I'm going to use today. So I'm going to put that right inside of my jig. I'm going to make sure that the ImpressArt is facing me. Okay, I'm going to slide it in. And then I'm going to take it to the bottom. Push it down so it hits that metal. Okay. And then I'm going to squeeze the center so it holds it in place. And give it a couple of hits. And there's my rainbow. So I'll color that in now. And with these SIY kits, what's nice about them is we put a couple of details on these design-wise to make them not so plain. So you could actually run your marker over those details, and that will be antiqued and colored in as well. You could also stamp on the back of these. So if you want to do "Life is Beautiful" on the front and then put a little message in the back, you could do that. And then, like I said, I like to make it dirty. And anyone who's met me in person knows that my hands are always black, always. And then I'm gonna lightly wipe it off. And I'm just using a regular household paper towel. It's not wet. And again, when you're stamping, sometimes, and your marker isn't staying in the impression, it could be one that you've wiped it off a little too soon, or two, that your impression is not deep enough. Okay, it's too shallow. So now if you could see that, you see that "Life is that whimsical font that I was talking about. See if everybody could see that. And "Beautiful" is more of an up and down, sort of like a childlike font, okay? And then a lark's head knot. So does everybody know how to do a lark's head knot? I think this is like one of the first knots I learned in Girl Scouts many years ago. So you could do one of two things. You could get super creative and you could hang some beads off the end of this. Or you could just, comes with a red ribbon to do a lark's head knot. What you're gonna do is you're gonna put that right through. You're gonna double them, okay? Double your cord, put it right through the back. And then you're going to take your fingers and pull it right through. And this is a great project to drop in the mail. This will go so long and make someone so happy when they receive this. Or even if you're doing it for yourself. I know we've been crafting a lot in the house the last couple of, I believe it's been almost 2 weeks. And we've been either doing, we're big on car rides. We've been doing a drive-by and dropping things in people's mailboxes, little surprises. So even for your neighbor, if you have that neighbor on your block that you haven't seen and you usually wave to them every day, dropping something in their mailbox goes a long way. Just let people know that you're thinking of them. So the back is nice and plain. You could definitely stamp on both sides of this. And now we're gonna do a garden marker. So I'm going to pull the plastic off the front and back of this. Okay. So here we go. Here's our garden marker. And like I said before, a lot of our SIY programs have, project kits have this pretty detail that are etched in already. So when you're enameling your project at the end, feel free to run that marker right over these impressions and they will get antiqued as well. They'll get colored in and they'll just pop right off of that metal. So garden markers are really cute. You don't have to put them outside. I have them actually in my plants around my house with different words and mantras and sayings and so forth. So I'm going to show you really quick how to stamp 2 ways on this, okay? So the first way we're going to do it is across it, okay? Same concept. And I'm just going to do grow, okay? Because isn't that what everybody hopes that happens? Grow, right on my sticker. And I am going to use my 3mm juniper font. Again, I'm going to place my stamp down, lightly drag that, give it a hit. Same thing with my R. Lightly drag it down. And if you're just tuning in, like I said before, if you're having problems and you're going over the sticker with your stamp, tilt that stamp a little bit towards you. Once you feel that it hits that ledge and you feel that restriction of that tape, then you're going to press down, give it a nice tap. And again, you could color it in, and even that intricate detail that's on those. So I'm going to dab it. And lightly wipe. Ooh. Grow seems to be my word. I don't keep plants alive very long. It's actually, my mother has the green thumb. Everything that she has grows. So I'm kind of jealous. So you could stamp like this, or if you want to stamp down vertically, I'm going to show you how to do that. Okay, so this is going to be a little bit different. I'm going to take another sticker. And it's allergy season too, so I'm sniffling, but I'm sniffling because of allergies. So with this, I'm going to use my stamp tape, okay, which comes in a roll, okay. And instead of placing my guide so I line them up, I'm gonna do it on the side. So I am going to follow that blue line that runs across your sticker, okay? And instead of pulling down, I'm going to push sideways. So I'm gonna do my grow on my black hash marks. I'm gonna move it down a little bit. That's what I love about these stickers. You can move them down. Okay. Okay. So I'm going to use my juniper. So I'm going to take it and I'm going to place it right above that hash mark with my G on it. And instead of bringing it down, I'm still going to have my ImpressArt facing me, okay? Instead of bringing it down, I'm going to slide it to the side and line it up. So you're going to slide it right over, right to that side, and it'll catch just like it catches the other way. So you're going to place it, slide it, feel that restriction, give it a hit. Slide it over, give it a tap. Slide it over, another tap. Flat and over and a tap. So you're going to see that it comes out nice and even. Your spacing is perfect. You're all lined up. And you could even use that tip and technique on any jewelry that you're doing. Any of the blanks that are strips, even a bracelet. On your bracelets, your message doesn't have to read left to right. It could read up and down. Lightly blot it. Lightly wipe. So you could see, I'll turn these around for you guys, that sticker could be used to do it vertically and horizontally. It's just a matter of you pulling down or pulling to the side. Okay, so we covered our bookmarks, our garden markers, and let's see, where did I put Elvis's? And a dog tag. And these are great projects. We have other projects as well. My daughter was home for Pi Day, so we did Happy Pi Day. You know, this is the food marker. You could use this for a cupcake. We have another one. This is Happy Birthday Charlotte. This is a sans serif font in an uppercase 3mm. This is the lowercase juniper. I just want to go over the jig a little bit. Come back. I'm just going to open up another bookmark. I'm going to use my 3mm jig. I'm going to put my sticker down. And I'm going to use the name Oliver. Okay. So again, I'm going to take my jig. I'm going to make sure that my ImpressArt is facing me. I'm going to put that right inside the jig. And I'm going to lightly drag it, same as if I was holding it. You're going to squeeze it so it holds it into place. And you're going to line it up with that hash mark. Press down. And you're going to give it a hit. Same thing now, I'm going to go with my L. I'm going to put my stamp right inside. I'm going to line it up. Give it a squeeze. Give it a tap. Drop my eye in with my ImpressArt facing me. Line that up. Press down. Give it a tap. There's my V. There's my E. My R. I'm going to take my sticker off. And there we go. We're going to see that we're nice and even. Our spacing and our line, we're nice and lined up. I'm going to color in the rest of the details on my bookmark. Gonna make it ugly, then wipe it lightly to make it pretty. So here is Oliver. So you want to hold it where you could see. That's a really uncomfortable way to hold it. So you want to make sure that you are holding it from the side. Okay, let me pull out. So this is I'm going to put the rainbow in it. So remember, when you're sliding your design stamp into your jig, you want to make sure that you can see what design stamp it is. There's a little inscription at the bottom of it. Yes, so you want to hold it like this. So you're going to take it, and now it's much easier to see. So you're going to line up where you want it. And remember to squeeze. If you don't squeeze, it moves around just a little bit. You want to give it a nice squeeze. And then give it a nice hit. And then if you're going around your disc, you want to make sure you don't have to move your jig. Move your piece of metal. Squeeze. And you could see, just by coloring it in, that with that jig, and if you give it that squeeze, it's not gonna wobble back and forth. It's gonna hold it, the stamp, in a really nice position. So you're gonna get a nice crisp impression in that metal. And you're gonna see, you're gonna get it nice and even. Sometimes when you're stamping and we're a little cautious about the hammer, we're afraid that we're gonna hit our fingers, we tend to move a little. So let's say I moved a little bit. You get a half of impression. And I'll color that in so you could see it. Okay? With the jigs, it takes that fear out. It protects your fingers and it leaves a really nice and even impression. So that one right there is what I stamped without the jig. When we're sometimes hesitant, we get half of an impression. The jig takes that guesswork out of it and it leaves a nice and clean impression and even. So that's basically how to use the jigs. So we know how to now properly hold our jig, okay? I showed you how to stamp both vertically and horizontally using the sticker guides. And these are the SIY projects. We have a bunch of them. We have dog tag like we did today, a garden marker. We have, let's see what else. We have a golf marker. We have wine charms. So they don't have to always be kids' crafts, ladies. We could do wine charms as well, which I would use a wine charm even if I was drinking alone. You never know whose glass you could get mixed up with. So with this whole social isolation thing, social distancing, we could stamp some really funny sayings on some wine glasses. Again, you can pop these in the mail because they're flat. Let's see, Kate asked me, what is your go-to font or your favorite font? It's a hard one. My job at ImpressArt is to come up with fonts. So I would have to say my go-to font. Okay, so my go-to font would have to be between Lollipop and Melody. My new favorite font, and they go back and forth. You'll see, like, sometimes I won't use a font for a while and then I'll bring it back. Lately I've been using Celtic, but my favorite one right now, if I was on a deserted island and had to take my stamps with me, which we all know that is probably the one thing that I would bring, would be a stamp set, would have to be Willow from our signature line. Willow is a 4mm upper and lower font. Comes with numbers as well. Let me see if I could grab that for you guys so you could see. So this is the uppercase. I'm in love with this font. In love. So that is the uppercase. And the lowercase looks just like that. And it's really, it's really beautiful. Okay, so Lynn's saying she's having a problem with the Celtic, with the ink staying in it. Lynn, so you watch the tutorials that I've been doing. What I want you to do is color it in and then dab it and then lightly wipe. If you're still having a problem with that font, it is a wider font, so the ink is gonna need a little bit more time to dry in that font. I want you to let it sit for a couple of seconds, dab it, lightly wipe it. If it's still coming out, it means the impression still isn't deep enough, and you might have to use a little bit more gusto when you're hitting it with your hammer. I would hit it a little bit harder. And if you're still having a hard time, definitely take a picture of what you're doing it. You could private message it to us and we could try to troubleshoot and walk you through it again. But definitely try that dabbing the ink, putting it on, dabbing it and lightly wiping it. Try leaving it on for a couple more minutes because it's a wider font, if that makes any sense. It's a wider font. So it needs a little bit more time for that ink to actually adhere into it. But literally dab it, make it really ugly, and then take your paper towel, don't put any water on it, don't put any antibacterial, and lightly wipe that and see if you have a better result of that. So I am grateful that you tuned in to watch this today. You could watch it on replay. It's going to live on the Facebook page. Okay. These were the SIY kits. You could go online. There's a bunch of different ones, a lot to list. And we hope everybody's doing well. And if you have any questions, you could reach out to us, let us know, and we'll help you out to the best of our ability. And stay safe. Well, thank you very much for joining us, and we hope to see you tomorrow. Stay safe.